So my daughter and I had a pretty bad car accident, and we're very blessed to have walked away with everything intact. It could have been really terrible. And so you go through an event like that, it shakes you to the core. It's traumatizing, and fortunately, like I said, we walk away. But in the aftermath, a couple days later, you start to think about, well, if that had gone the wrong way, what situation does that leave my wife and other kids in, family? How do we combat that and feel like we're in a good situation? So here are a few things that I thought about in conversation with my wife. The first thing was, she's like, what would I do if that happened? And not necessarily on the personal side, but more financial, right? We got through the personal first. So the first thing is, who's the trusted advisor, right? Who knows where all of your assets, liabilities, business interests, real estate, like who has that big picture? So we first talked about that step. Then from there, it's like, well, what about like cash and bills? My wife obviously knows that, we own a business that's illiquid, so that doesn't necessarily pay bills. So in my mind, that very next rational step is to say we have life insurance that covers everything that the family could possibly need. 'Cause I'm always of the mindset that if God forbid something happened to someone in a family, the last thing you want to worry about coming out of that is money, right? You want to have that stability. You want to know that the money is taken care of. That's a simple solve on the life insurance for most people. To know that we've got liquidity, you and the kids are taken care of. You're in a great scenario there, X the personal side of things financially. And then I think from there, it's a level of understanding, right? To understand and continue year in and year out. We've talked about what our will says. We've talked about if, God forbid, those situations happen, because you have to do that. It's not fun, but to revisit it annually and just say, is it still right? And not even is it still right, but is there still an understanding there? This is my business. I'm in this every day with clients, so I obviously know very well. But does my spouse have that peace of mind to say, if God forbid something really bad happened, where do we go? Are we okay? And what are kind of the next couple rational steps to just take the pressure out of the situation? The last thing I'll talk about that I think is really interesting, and it's probably not as financial, but I remember coming out of that accident and feeling so blessed to have made it through and not had any issues. But I think, when you have those big events, you look back and you say, man, if that would have went bad, what would my regrets have been, right? Was it spending time with family? Was it business interests? Was it I do too much of this? I'm in bad shape, whatever it is. And I think I was fortunate to look back and feel confident about that, but that was purposeful. I've spent a lot of time thinking through life and lifestyle, financial goals, personal goals, family goals, and how they all, make up. So I think that's another big piece in my mind of the financial wellness of going through an event like this, looking back, what could have happened, and then looking forward to feel either like you're in a good situation or there are certain things you need to tweak and understand. People think these things are so complicated, which gives you a stumbling block to even get started. So that's the part where a team like ours can help out and say, well, paint us the picture. Like if something should happen, what do you feel? Who are the key people involved? Then let us help you to go and execute. Taking care of estate attorney relationships, get them fired up, create the communication. The same with the CPA, same with partners, like that kind of stuff. I think kind of hamstrings and gives us paralysis on even moving forward because we think these things are so very complicated. If a doctor said to me, Nick, you're going to have to perform a heart surgery, I'd probably fail miserably and have the same paralysis to say no, I can't do that. But if someone were to educate, step in, and say the surgeon says, "No, I'm going to take care of the surgery. We're going to talk through this." Well, now we're in a situation of saying that's their expertise. That's what they're paid to do. They take care of it. So I think that kind of thought process is an important one too. Get started, get it going, have some of those conversations, and deploy a team that's been there before.